This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Lee Jessup is a career coach for screenwriters specializing in guiding emerging professionals. Who wrote this? Lee Jessup is a career coach for screenwriters specializing in guiding emerging and professional scribes toward successful screenwriting careers. And Michael, the answer is I wrote this, and I can't even read what I wrote. Her coaching clients include Golden Globe and Emmy nominees, best-selling authors, Writers Guild members, and writers just starting out, and obviously people not like me. She is the author of the best-selling guide, Getting It Right, an insider's guide to a screenwriting career. Hello, Lee. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
We are glad to have you with us, even if I can't read my own script.
At least we pronounced your name right.
Well, you get my married name. My pre-married name was Zahavi, and that was always a tongue twister.
Yes.
Oh, that is a tongue twister.
We would call you Miss Lee on this show, is what we would call you. Lee, how would you describe a career coach?
The easiest way to describe it is really a guidance counselor for screenwriters.
A guidance counselor to screenwriters.
Yep.
Guidance in what way?
Guidance for anything that's related to building, sustaining, and managing their careers. So it's ongoing input, advice, support, channel for venting, complaining, exploring, discussing.
Oh, I bet you get a lot of venting and complaining.
I do. You know, everybody needs a safe place to vent.
Yeah.
We were just talking with Jen Grisante, who does screenwriting and consulting, and she's joining you, I think, on one of the WonderCon panels tomorrow. But how would you differentiate what she does, which is script analysis, with what you're doing?
Well, Jen focuses on story. I adore Jen. She's such a formidable voice in TV development. But Jen's sweet spot is story. She works on the writer's story, how to get the writer to that best script. I pick it up once the script is written. How to take that script and translate it for ammo for a career, for a building block in a career, how to get it out there, how to get the writer out there, et cetera, et cetera. So oftentimes a story consultant looks at one piece of work. I look at the long-term career and everything that's required within it.
What if the script is not very good to you? What do you do?
They usually go back to Jen. I'm very direct about it. If I feel that a writer's work is just not there, I'm going to tell them as much. It's their decision to say, I disagree and I'm going to take it out anyway. How do I best do that? And I'm more than happy to advise on that. But you know, my point of view is that should a writer take a piece out and get nothing, no meetings, no interest, clearly not a sale, if they come back to me and they say, well, how did this happen? And how come nobody liked my script? I can't sit there and go, I kind of hated your script too, but I didn't say anything. So it's my job to say, hold on, I don't think it's there yet. It's up to you whether you want to go forth with it, but this is just my humble opinion.
Well, that gets me to, I think, a core point. What makes your opinion worth listening to as a career coach? In other words, what have you done prior to our conversation to make people worth listening to you?
I think, first of all, the important thing to discuss here is the fact that it's a business of opinion. It's not a business of fact.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Entirely subjective. And I can be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. Many times I prefer to be wrong. All I have is my knowledge and my opinions. I've been lucky enough to have a well-received taste level. So usually if I give something the green light, or if, on the rare occasion that one of my writers will turn something in that I think is amazing and I'll get it out there, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get the material an agent or a manager. I'm going to get the material moving forward. I've been in this industry for over 20 years now. I've devoured material since I was a kid. I grew up with a producer at home. So I was reading scripts from early on, but it's a taste level. And clearly there are people whose taste level don't agree with mine, and that's perfectly fine. My opinion is just my opinion and is derived of all the knowledge that I've gained in this industry because I've never worked in another one.
So how would you describe, as long as we're picking on Lee for a moment, how would you describe your perspective that makes you unique? In other words, what guidance would somebody get from you, or help would they get from you that they wouldn't get from somebody else?
Well, my advice and guidance is career specific, which not a lot of people do for a very specific reason. There's no formula, right? There's no 3 steps, which is not to say that story guidance is easy in any way, shape, or form. It's very complex, but there's a structure there. There's an expectation that if you follow certain steps, if you put in certain principles to the work should be serviceable in some way. Career is not the same thing. Every writer that I work with at broke in differently. So frankly, when I started doing this full time, I showed up at a big event where the organizer was a friend who said, okay, you're doing this now. Come to the event. I said, great. So I showed up and I saw the script consultant that I'd known for years. And I said, okay, where are the rest of me? Where are the other people who do what I do? And she looked at me and she said, what do you mean? I said, well, where are my people? There have to be other people here. I want to start getting to know them. She looked at me like I was crazy. People don't really do this because you can't. I'm not selling a dream. I don't believe in selling dreams. I don't believe in making promises. I don't believe in come work with me and you'll have the career of your dreams. This is very hard work, very laborious process that you don't have a formula for. You have knowledge, opinion, kind of ongoing interjection of current event, what's happening in the industry. It just so happens to fit with what I'm passionate about.
In your bio, and I'm going to look at my notes so I can try not to screw this up twice, you wrote, the years of easy spec sales were over. The new millennium was all about creating, cultivating, and sustaining a screenwriting career. What does that mean?
In the 90s, we really had the explosion of the spec market. Writers showed up and sold a script, and material would sell very, very quickly. I was talking to a manager today, earlier in the day, who told me a story about how he was put on a desk. He was an assistant at an agency. He read a script. His boss walked by and said, what are you reading? And he said, I'm reading a specific script, and this is the next thing you're going to sell. And within 6 weeks, it was sold. We're not in that environment anymore. Yes, material sells very fast. One of my clients, her script was taken out in the beginning of March, and it was sold on the 9th of March. But that is the outlier. That is not the case. We're selling barely 100 specs a year.
Wow.
This particular rate. Right now, 2015 is looking to be behind 2014, which was a bad year. Granted, March picked up, but things are changing. So it is about getting in business with a writer rather than picking up a script.
Yeah, but
a writer is somebody who creates content on an ongoing basis rather than just the one that they want to sell.
How is it possible when you talk about the 1990s versus 2015? 2015 has networks, it has cable, it has YouTube, it has Netflix, it has Amazon, it has all these things. Content we want so much content. Why aren't every single writer, despite the fact that they're writing crap, still can sell their scripts? Because we need so much content.
Well, film numbers are actually going down. In 2014, 32% of Americans didn't go to the movies. That's a huge figure. We are absolutely growing content on the TV side, but suddenly TV used to be the place where writers went to die, right? I mean, it just up until
not anymore. Yeah.
It wasn't something that you wanted to do. Back in the day when I was a writer, I'd sold a script and my agent came to me and said, do you want to work in TV? And I went home and I called my best girlfriend and I said, I can't believe what she said to me. Is this what she thinks of me? I'm switching. It's a different story now. So there's certainly a lot more doors opening on the TV side and the content side. But the challenge that filmmakers and TV scribes specifically are facing, that suddenly they're facing off with Steven Soderbergh, who comes out of retirement to make The Knick, or with David Fincher, who is doing House of Cards. So the competition level really rose in television that up until a few years ago was a really closed world. But now we're seeing pitch seasons where a lot more new material, new blood is coming in. What's not selling is the feature specs that's still having a really tough time. It was hit in 2008 and really, hasn't fully recovered.
Now, also on your blog, I'm going to quote another thing I want your thoughts on. You write, all writers are not created equal. Each has their unique strengths, and those who went the farthest were those who knew where they are weak. What does that mean?
There's this idea that a writer is a writer is a writer. And that's not true because every writer is different. Every writer has different passions, different interests. The writers who go the furthest are the ones who understand where they're weak and therefore know where they are strong. If they know where they're strong, they're going to lean into that and have us looking away from their weaknesses. So they're going to write into their brand because they know they're not good at anything else. They're going to really work on any challenges they have in interpersonal relationships. They're going to hone in on their pitches if they're not good with that. The writers who understand that they have to do everything, that they really have to master the totality of the craft in breaking in, are the ones that are going to get there. And the way that I see it, it's a very long job interview.
Wow.
Everybody prep for a job interview. It's just, there isn't that immediate gratification of you got the job or not. It usually takes about 5 to 10 years.
I don't know any writer who could do the totality. I mean, creative people are usually very shy. They're bad pitchers. I guess that's why they need people like you and Jen. Writers just want to write. That's it.
Yeah, but I do think that in today's environment, a lot of them, learn to, for lack of better words, and I don't mean this as horrible as it sounds, but function in all spaces. My writers have put together this bi-monthly meetup where a group of 75 to 100 writers get together, right?
Wow.
And I had a new writer just move into town and come to one of these events. It's poolside, everybody has drinks. And he pulled me aside at the end of the night and he said, "Oh my God, everybody's so normal. They're just standing around. There's no neuroses. Nobody's freaking out. There's no backstabbing. They're just normal people who also happen to be writers." And I think that you're finding more and more of those people who understand what it takes and are willing to bring their personality, who they are, into the game and find success in that.
Lee,
I want to go to one of those. Are you in Los Angeles?
I am in Los Angeles. Drop me an email and
All
I'll
right, I want to
invite
go
you.
to one and just to hang out with you, all you normal people.
Lee, I know you're giving a talk at WonderCon, and when is it tomorrow so people can attend if they want to?
It's tomorrow at 5:30.
And what website can people go to learn more about the wonderful services you provide?
I'm at leejessup.com.
That's LeeJessup, leejessup.com. She's a career coach at Lee Jessup Career Coaching. Lee, it's been wonderful talking with you.
And I will see you poolside.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.